Hello and welcome folks to Agathos Flight School. I finally managed to research enough points and earn enough money to buy the FW190 D-9, which in the list of my favorite planes is up on the top, just rivaled by the P-51D. And here we go on my very first sortie with the D-9. It is stock configuration. It is against the Russians. Not a great match so far with many people. I think 6 or 7 of both sides. And well, let's just take a look what the plane can do. I have decided, as the plane is stock, that I would side climb and try to hunt for some incoming buffs. I have flown a little with the FW190A5 to get some enough points to spawn the D-9, and I must admit I still don't like the elevator of the Focke-Wulf. It's just extremely bad, and there is almost no feeling in it. On one side it is much too nervous, and on the other side, if you come into a certain speed range, the elevator is almost as if the stick is done in concrete. And so the FW190 in War Thunder has actually worse high-speed performance than the BF109, which is kind of odd. And what is also very disappointing with the elevator is that for some reason you cannot really pull the right angle of attack for the plane, so the instantaneous turn rate of the FW190 is worse than it should, and sometimes you're just not able to pull enough lead without stalling, and on the other side you are simply not able to correctly fly the plane in the pattern and land the plane at 3-point attitude. There's something really odd about the flight model in War Thunder, and I will admit the only reason I fly the FW here, the Dora especially, is because I so like the plane. It is not that I think that the plane is in any way competitive, neither at tier 3 nor tier 4. The only attribute speaking for the FW190 in any series is the armament, because it has much more guns than the BF109, especially the very solid German 20mm cannons, which I have the feeling are often enough killing enemy fighters with just one bullet. And so in the FW190 series you got lots of them, and so if you hit, it's highly unlikely that you don't score a kill, but the way to get a lead shot and to get a correct gun solution is so troublesome. It is verily fun to fly. Sometimes you're wondering if the plane actually wants to turn, because you pull on the elevator and the nose just does not come around. And so there I spotted an enemy airfield, and I'm climbing slowly up to altitude, and if I remember right, the first enemy I find here is also an enemy buff, so let's get a little bit fast forward to the attack run. And there now I have a target spotted very good couple of thousand feet below me, and it's a buff, and now I'm tracking it, trying to get a good angle where my speed will allow me to attack without the gunners taking me down. I now have positively identified it as a buff, and so I climb to his high 5 o'clock position, and you see I keep track of him through that side window and get above him, And there I have him, a 4-engined Russian bomber, if I identified it right. And so I now bring myself into position for a high-speed run. I come in and that's the rare occasion I use the zoom, but you see the buff is in a steady climb, and so I come in, pull the cruise speed, and let the gun speak. And solid hit. The guy is burning. And now he's going down, and I pull up. And line up for a possible second gun run, but you see his wing came off through the fire. So first kill with a FW-190 D-9 in live gaming. Astonishing, I did not get any damage from the IE gunners. And so now let's go again, fast forward to the next combat. And there I spotted someone on my tail. And so I go in a rolling defense. With a Dora, it looks like an LA. And a bot. And now I try just to defeat his gun solution, fighting my own elevator. But you see there I slowly gain angles. Going nose down. But I do not really feel confident in the Dora. The nose takes ages to come around. Here I go over the top using Mother Gravity to help with the turn. And so here you see I cannot really, I just try to not let him get a gun solution on me, defying these angles and using that little high speed response my control has to get a distance. And here I go for my escape window. You saw those turns I was not able to really get positive angles on that LA. And now he goes off. And I see a couple of other dogs back there, and so I decide to climb up and return to the fight with that altitude. Also one bad thing, the D9 on stock does not really climb well. And there I now see two dots engaging. And as usual, if I think there might be a friendly in trouble, I turn around. No matter the odds, and no matter how much I dislike the plane's performance I actually fly in. So now with an altitude, I come back in. And probably, or very likely, it's still that LA7 bot now engaged with another German. Yes, it's LA. I score some hits. Not enough to kill him. I pull up. try to stay on his high 6. Come back down. And here, you know, I'm really fighting with the elevator. It's extremely hard with my game setup to not constantly stall and spin out the fucking walls. And so here I try to keep a very slow turn, get some angle, and you see the moment I try to lead, I'm on the verge of stall, and so I have to straighten out, recover, come back in, pull in behind. And as it seems I'm together with that other German in a 2 versus 2, I even thought this is a stock Dora. I just stay there and try to see what the plane can do. Probably scoring another few hits. And now I even have to throttle back to not completely overshoot. The next hit, but still nothing critical to that LA. I now stay behind him, still very slow. And if you wonder why I'm not gaining, the Dora just can't get it goes quicker around. And so I try to stay within his plane of motion. And there he goes up. And then I have to put down my nose early to not stall. And you see again, slightly stalling. Again stalling. Really fighting my own plane more than the enemy at that point. Now I'm starting to experiment with flaps, seeing that stabilizes the turn, so when I go over the top low, I pop the flaps. When I go down, I retract them to not break them. I can hold myself in that position, but I cannot really gain any good gun solution. And just remember that I'm fighting a bot, not a human at that point. And so you may wonder why I stay here. This is one of the things I just play out. I want to see how tight I can really turn with the Dora to develop a feeling for the slow flight. And slowly have the feeling I'm gaining on that bot. And bots are pretty good to do that training because they are to some extent built to fly at the best possible and slowest turn speed. You see, I just cannot pull enough lead, and it takes ages here. And there finally I score a hit. Using another method of deflection shooting, not pulling my nose through. And now I think it's time to return home. And on the way home I will see a second buff where I then do a low 6 approach and will get some damage to the plane and get killed. But I must admit, for the first flight in the Dora, I did not expect it to work that well. see there is a buff. I'm pretty low on cannon ammunition. And I know that this is a bad attack angle, but I'm tired. And now I'm down to enemies. And I guess it was a pilot kill, but the enemy buff was burning and going down. And let's just hop into the second sortie I did with the Dora, because there was another nice fight with an LA. And here we are in the second sortie I saw a fight where a friendly plane was engaged with an enemy, and as I close in, I discovered that the enemy is an LA-7. And so I jump in additionally, and try the same as in my first sortie, just with the difference that this time the other guy is a player, not bot. Friendly got a solid hit in. Enemies burning, going down. I try to cover him. For some odd reason, the LA almost seemed to have stopped. Down. So folks, you might wonder why I have shown or included the fight where I actually did not really get a shot on that LA-7, because the other guy in a 109 was good enough to kill that guy. It's quite simple. I wanted to demonstrate one point. I used that fight where I was pretty secure. I had help, and that LA-7 had his hands full defending against that 109 to exploit and test the performance of the D-9. You know, I need to get a feeling, especially for the low speed and handling and in horizontal turns and vertical maneuvers, so I just know when I'm up in a 1 versus 1 fight or a many versus many, which maneuvers I can pull and which maneuvers I cannot pull. And if you have a target that is you're working on 2 versus 1 and he's turning hard to defend himself, it's pretty good for experimenting with your turning performance, because you're pretty safe and you can try things you might not want to try in 1 versus 1, because that might be too quick over. And so I really went in that fight and tried to pull hard, stay behind him, not because I think that is the best way to fight with the fucking Wolf 190 D9, but to get a feeling for how low I can get the speed and still be able to control the control the plane and stay in a controlled flight. And so, as you have seen in many of my P-51 videos, I might stay with P-51 longer in turn fight than other guys, just because I'm very confident in my low speed handling. And this is the same I try to do on that fucking Wolf now. I try to get a confident feeling how low and slow I can push her without crashing and without losing control. And here I enter the next fight, and actually I will again do the same. You will see I try to pull in hard behind that LA7. Not going up or zooming out, but staying on the 6. And now you hear how I use the flaps, how I throttle back, and not going as the grab currently, to just stay behind him. And remember, I'm still on the stock D-9, so I'm not really having the performance of the plane I should have when it's fully spaded. I have not a single thing researched so far, not enough points. And you see how I try to stay in lag pursuit, try to not lose the angle of tail. And I need to develop that feeling. I try to get on this turning circle of that LA7, and now he's coming back. And I try for a shot. Not sure if I got some things in. No, but he crashed actually. And so I would call that a maneuver kill. And so this was my first and my second mission with the Focke-Wulf 190 D-9. I hope you enjoyed the flight with a completely different kind of plane for me so far. See you here again in the future at Agathos Flight School. Bye bye folks!